How's it going, everyone? This is Yxlarb here, and welcome back to my Forza Motorsport 7 series. In the last episode, we took an Audi R8 LMS Ultra around the Nürburgring, and this time we're going to be drifting a rear-wheel drive converted Evolution 10, aka Evo 10, and this is the build. Obviously, I did not create this design, this livery. I downloaded it from online. I meant to get the name, but completely forgot to do it. As you can see, there are some imperfections with it, based on, the, body kit style I decided to go with. So because I have the stock rear bumper, some words are cut off. Because I have an aftermarket front bumper, some words are cut off. That's just, and of course you can't make minor tweaks to these for whatever reason. So it's stuck as is, but I still think it looks pretty cool. It even says drift across the side. I mean, come on. Now, instead of doing the normal thing I've done in the past, which is going into the upgrade shop and figuring out all my upgrades on the spot and taking up a ton of time, I've decided to do the upgrades ahead of time and just show you all what I've done. So, of course, you got to change the drivetrain. You got to make it rear-wheel drive. That's first step in making a drift car. The engine, stock, nothing changed there. Aero, if you care, I've got the Varus, or Varus, however you want to say it, front bumper, which, by the way, it looks a little strange. I hate to point this out because I feel like I'm always complaining about something. But as you can see here with the stock bumper, compare the white on the fender and the hood to the bumper, and you can see it's all about the same. But then if you go to an aftermarket bumper, either one of them, it's a much brighter white. I don't know why that happens. That's been a problem with the Evos since, as far as I know, from Forza 4. I mean, in Forza 4, this was an issue, so there you are. I'm going wingless. Just don't want a wing on there. Rear bumper. See, if you had the charge speed, you could see all those words. But again, look at how much brighter red that is than this. Compare them. It's just wrong. Plus, I hate how this rear bumper looks, so we're going to avoid that. Side skirts, we've got the Varus ones again. Which ones are these actually meant to go with? It doesn't look like they really fit any of them particularly well, but that's okay. And then the hood, I left stock. I didn't mess with any of them. Although you can get some pretty interesting rally-inspired ones there. That's pretty cool. Anyway, tires, I've got... these ones. I've got sport tires on there. Less wide in the front, fully wide in the rear. The wheels, I believe, are what do you call them? P101s. Yep. And these are, I believe, the stock size. Yes, 18-inch front and rear. Nothing too staggered there. Basically, everything else is race. I'm just going to go into each one of these just to show you. Everything here is set to the race mode, for full tunability, which is, of course, important in a drift build. Brakes and coilovers, same thing. Oh, except this is the one new thing in Forza 7, and this is actually my first experience with it. The drift springs and dampers, which adds an angle kit. First of all, it adds extra camber, as you can see. Compare them to the race ones. Extra camber to the front and rear, I suppose, but more so to the front, which is important. And an angle kit so you can turn the front wheels more so in either direction, which is, again, important for drifting. So that is amazing. It's amazing that they finally added that in after, several games worth of a dedicated drift fan base in this game. So it's nice. Now let's see. Yeah, look at everything here is race, including the weight savings. Now the engine is where things are a little bit different. So as you can see, I've got a race intake and then stock, race exhaust, stock. I'm just going to keep saying stock. Turbo, race turbo, race intercooler, stock, and a sport flywheel just to make it all nice and easy. Obviously, in its current state, it far exceeds its restrictions, so we can't race against other sport compacts, but that's okay. We don't need to do that. Anyway, here we are sitting at an even 700, which is exactly what I like to do. I like to get the rating to an even number. That's just what I like to do. I'm sorry. Anyway, now I'm going to show you all the tune. I've also gone ahead and tuned it ahead of time. So I'm just going to, just point out the major things and then just pause it if you want to copy it. I'm not a professional tuner, just pointing it all out to you. So here we are. Tire pressure, sorry. Slightly lower in the front and more low in the back. Both of them are slightly lower. I didn't actually mess with the gearing at all, I don't believe. I may have, but I'm not positive. I usually don't. So I like how the Evo 10 is set up, so I usually don't mess with that. -3 degrees of front camber, -2 of rear camber. Mess with the toe slightly in the rear. Here, 6.5 degrees of caster, 60 degrees of steering angle, which is, of course, possible because of the drift kit that we've got on there. Here's my anti-roll bars and my springs. It's not ideal to have your ride height be all the way down, but I just like having a fully lowered car. It just looks cool. That's the only reason I do that. So just know it's not ideal for this setup, but I do it anyway. Here's my rebound and bump stiffness. My arrow, I don't have any actual adjustable arrow. Well, these... Okay, get out of here. The help option won't go away. I want it to go away. But anyway, braking force... I just changed the pressure actually up to 120%. And here's the differential. 100% on acceleration, 70% on deceleration. And it's that simple. I don't think I changed anything, so don't apply it. Great. Now here we are at Lime Rock, everyone. And because I didn't say it before, this car makes roughly 420 horsepower and weighs, I believe, a little over 2,600 pounds with 54% of the weight going to the front. Here's my assists setup, which, by the way, guys, I realized... very late, like an idiot, that your assists don't affect how much money you get. The only things that affect the money you get are what the initial prize is for the race you partook in, and your drivatar difficulty. Those are the only things. Having traction control or stability control off doesn't do anything like it did in previous games. So it wasn't totally stupid of me to think that, but I kind of like this on the one hand because now... You know, if you want to use ABS or if you want to have traction control on, you don't suffer for it. You know, you can just race with whatever restrictions or assists you want on, and it's not going to affect the outcome in terms of your cash you earn. So that's good. But anyway, here's what it looks like. I always have ABS off for drift cars at the very least, so there you are. And I'm not no need to mess with drivatar difficulty because there's no one else here. It's just us. So we're just going to go ahead and dive on in. And I might focus for a little bit just to get into the groove of drifting again. I've never drifted this car while commentating. So let's see how it goes. Now, because I haven't drifted this car while commentating yet, I'm probably not going to be used to it. So I'm probably going to try to focus during this first lap just to figure out what gears I need to be in for what corners. And then, I mean, we're set for 3 laps. I'm hoping that by the end, I'll be a professional at drifting. So, let's see how it goes. Professional at drifting this car on this track, at least. Yeah, so see, we're gonna make some minor mistakes like that, but that's to be expected. I'm gonna stay in 3rd gear for this one. Down to 2nd there. Oh, jeez. There we go. Now, typically when I'm drifting, I don't try to drift the straights. I mean, you're just, you know, going from side to side to side to side. It's just not very entertaining, I don't think. There we go. And also, I don't worry too much about boundaries when I'm drifting. I mean, if you worried about those, you would just not be having any fun because you're constantly going off or getting more than 2 wheels off the track or anything like that. You know, that's just happening constantly, so... There we go. That wasn't too bad. I mean, for the first lap, that's really not bad. Let's see if we can improve ourselves any going forward. So here we go. The second lap's always tougher because then you got a downshift. Alright, there we go. That's good. That was a good entryway. Now let's see if we can make it all the way to the entire track. Down to 2nd there. Down to 2nd. Keep it going. Not enough. I like to connect those 2 corners, but those are definitely the 2 toughest corners to connect. By the way, I'm not a drifter in real life, and I am just trash when it comes to drift terminology. So, I mean, you know, tandem, I know tandem. Otherwise, like, slalom, I'm pretty sure I know what that means, but I'm not entirely certain. A little deep into the corner on that one. But we'll see how things go. We're coming up on our last lap, so we don't have very much time to perfect the art. So let's see what we can do. Looks like we got most of the track down. I mean, it's really just the first little section. There we go. By the way, when I'm drifting, what I do, for those wondering, is I basically, and I hit the e-brake first. This is for most corners. This is just a general rule. It's not always true, but here we go. So downshift, and then hit the e-brake at the same time as the clutch, and basically the gas immediately afterward. I'd have to show you the controller to show you exactly what I'm doing, but oh well, I suck anyway. So basically, let's see. So you're going, e-brake, clutch, gas, like basically all right back to back. I'd say half a second after hitting the e-brake, maybe less, I'm hitting the clutch, and then the gas right after that. Like immediately after that, a millisecond. And that's really just the most effective way, because then you don't have bog down. So here's what happens. No, not at this corner. I did it too well. I did it too well to show off what I'm talking about. But here, I'll show you on this next one. If you don't hit the clutch, this is what's going to happen. You see that? You see that pause? That was our car bogging down there. We just had no power because we didn't hit the clutch. So here we go. Same thing. Oh, actually, no, I hit the clutch. Even when I'm trying not to hit the clutch, I'm hitting it. But basically, you guys get it. So let's get down to a lower gear. And I'll just show you. See, you hit the e-brake. The power doesn't come on until, look, 1, 2. Like, full 2 seconds later. Nope. Don't cross the finish line yet. Because I kind of want to show you guys what happens. That is different. By the way, look at this. Look at the steering angle. Look at that. That's what we're getting from that drift kit. That's awesome. All right, so here we go. So we'll be in second gear. So to show you guys again, e-brake, drift. It takes 2 seconds for the power to get back on. But if you drift with the clutch, oh, I didn't do it, even though I said I was going to. All right, drift, clutch. See, there you go. Yeah, I'd say it's less than half a second. But anyway, guys, that's about it for the test session here. Now, what we're actually going to be doing, this is not going to come as a surprise to any of you who have seen my previous drift build videos. But basically, we're going to go race some actual people. We're going to, well, not actual people, drivatars. We're going to race against drivatars. And of course, they're not going to be drifting. We're going to be drifting. Now, you can do drift races in free play here, but I don't think you can have any drivatars. I don't think the drivatars can actually drift, but we might as well check and see. But basically, we're going to set them to a slightly lower difficulty, of course, because generally speaking, drifting around a track is slower than driving around it, you know, hot lap style. So we're not going to have a chance if we're trying to go against, you know, expert or highly skilled. Which, by the way, I have been playing quite a lot. As you saw, I'm level 32 now. I think I was below 10 the last video. So I played a lot since that last video, since episode 3. But yeah, we would have essentially no chance. No chance. We're going to go here into free play and set this up. All right, everyone, here we are. We're getting ready to dive into the Mugello full circuit, which I think is a good place to drift. Although I haven't done it very much, it has a lot of corners, a lot of nice sweeping corners. It's really good. It's really good for this, I think. I think it'll be a fun time. Anyway, because we're going to be at a distinct disadvantage, because, one, this is a Sport Compact upgraded far beyond its restrictions. We're going to be dealing with a lot of high-speed cars, and because there are a couple of long straights here, they're going to be able to get away from us pretty quickly if we're drifting the entire time. So, a couple of things to actually make this a fair fight. I have set the drivatar difficulty to just average. I know that sounds particularly low. I always play at highly skilled at minimum at this point. So if this was like a GT race, this would just be a blowout. But that's not what this is going to be. We're going to be drifting while they're driving optimally. So they're going to have the advantage in that way. So setting the drivatar difficulty fairly low. And then the ground rules, just to go over those real quick. Basically, I don't have to drift the straights. And I don't have to drift whenever it's not ideal. Well, it's never ideal. So let's see if I can change that terminology up. Basically, if it's not feasible. You know, if I'm surrounded by cars or I'm about to go off the track, I don't have to drift during those times, basically. And finally, I think there was one more rule I wanted to state. Yes, I remember. I don't have to worry about track limits all that much. You know, if I'm not saying I'm going to be, you know, going around cars on the outside or on the inside of the track limits, but if I'm drifting and I happen to go off a little bit, I'm not going to worry myself too much about that. Anyway, let's dive on in and see if it's actually possible to get first place in 3 laps. All right, guys, here we go. Here we go. a good thing it's a rolling start because big races are not what drift cars are built for. Let's see how far to the we can get. Cut a little bit there, past the Ferrari. It's BMW. Another Ferrari, maybe. No, not quite. We're gonna die. We're gonna tuck ourselves right here. In right here. Okay, yeah. So see, impossible to drift right now. Absolutely impossible. Oh, there we go. There we go. Being in the top 5 isn't bad because they are going to be going way faster than us. Okay, see, like if you're in my way like that, I can't drift. Okay, fine, I'll just drift early. Also, I should have mentioned, I don't care about hitting them. They're going to be hitting me. I can hit them. I'm not going to be, you know, purposely trying to get them out of my way or anything like that. But, you know, if they happen to be in my way when I'm exiting the drift, you know, fine. So be it. Oh, look at that. We're in the top 3. And we're just in the drifting section. I mean, once we get to the straightaway, we're going to be in a pretty good position to pass. And it would be a nice thing if we actually got in front, because then we could just focus on drifting and not worrying about winning. So it's a win-win. We actually win the race, and we get to have fun drifting. Alright, here we go. There we go. I like these long, high-speed sections like this. Oh, geez. Oh, geez. There we go. A little bit of a straightaway to keep the car behind us at bay, but we're going to want to be in second gear for this. Way slow. That was embarrassingly slow. Let's go up to third. There we go. Now we got ourselves a little bit more of a straight. Looks like the leader's 3.1 seconds ahead of us. I imagine we can save even a little bit of time during these smaller straights. Okay, can you just drift, please? During these smaller straights, just to keep up on them. And then during the main straight, I think we'll be able to pass them. So we'll see. Honestly, sometimes I feel like drifting this section is faster than just driving it normally. In certain cars, of course. Oh, we are definitely catching. We're going to try third gear here. Might be too high, but let's see. I'm going down a second for a second. Yep. And there we go. Corner's over. Time to go on the offensive. 2.3 seconds behind. We probably don't have the same top speed they do, so actually this may not be as good of an opportunity as I thought it would be, but we'll see. 2.1 seconds. 2.0. If we can at least get up into second place, that'd be good. Plus, you know, you never know. They can make mistakes. It's a longer race, so well, not too long actually, but 3 laps. Longer than most of the Forza Driver Cups. Jesus, those are so short sometimes. That's part of why I have such a problem with the difficulty spikes in the Drivatar difficulty settings, because, you know, when you're in the Drivers' Cup, you have 2 races. You know, I can beat pro drivers, but if I'm starting near the back of the pack, I'm going to need, you know, a couple extra laps to catch up to them. You know, it's just how it is. Let's see. Oh! Thought maybe that would be a passing opportunity. Well, it was a passing opportunity that I failed to take. Oh, we're going to pass this guy here for sure. No? That's the funny thing. It's like, if I was driving normally, that would have been a great passing opportunity. But when you're drifting, you lose that. Ugh. And now they're just pulling away from me. This is not good. Oh, now someone else is catching up. That's even worse. Oh, jeez. Alright, well, we are coming down to another high-speed section, which is, of course, where they thrive. You know, the corners is really my only chance to get them, apparently, which is actually the opposite of what I expected. I thought during this race I would have them the advantage in the straights because I'd be catching up to them pretty good, but I guess not. There we go. There we go. Let's pass this guy at least. If we can just get up in a second. Yes. Down a second for a second. This time stay in second for a little bit longer, and then shift up. Here we go. We are in second place, nearing the end of the second lap. We are actually closer this time, 1.8 seconds behind. Oh, we're probably still not going to catch him before the end, but at least we'll be right on the tail of number 1. second. A little bit deep. It's not great drifting uphill, I'll say. That really is not going to get me close to him. 1.2 seconds behind. We're right there. We're right on him, basically. Ugh. Of course, we got Mr. Second Aston Martin right behind us, so... Oh, not a good couple of corners there, but that's okay. Let's see. High speed section. I have to go off the track a little bit here to be able to make it. Oh. High speed section. This is where they like to get away from me. It should be said that I don't like them getting away from me, though. That should be obvious. There we go. Come here, we're right on your ass, literally. Almost literally. By the way, here's a funny thing. Look up the word literally, and you guys know what it means. You guys should know what it means. It's a pretty, oh shoot, commonly used word. I'm not going to pass you here because that just wouldn't be fair. That was a horrible corner on my part. But if you don't get out of the way. But it actually has a secondary meaning, which means figuratively. Yes, literally means the opposite of figuratively, but it is used incorrectly so frequently that it now has a second definition, which means the opposite of what the word typically means. Wow, I'm doing a terrible job drifting these last couple of corners, but oh well. Ugh! Go! Oh. Wow, that was an intense race. Honestly, I mean, that was on average difficulty. I thought I was going to make it too easy because I remember doing a similar challenge in Forza 6. I think I set them to above average or something, but then it just ended up being an absolute cakewalk. So I thought, but I don't know, it seems like the difficulty is higher in this game. You know, I feel like highly skilled is faster in this game than in Forza 6. I'm not positive on that, but wow, that was something. I honestly, after that first lap, I thought, wow, this is a pointless challenge. There's no way I'm going to be able to get first. And even when I did get first there at the end, it was at the very last second, and it was with some terrible drifting and regular driving from me. So I did it, though, I guess. I mean, you can win a race by using a drift car against race cars. You can beat race cars by drifting, as long as the difficulty is low enough. I believe there are 2 lower difficulty settings. The second to easiest one being inexperienced racer, and I believe the first one is just new racer. So yeah, can get worse, can get easier, I guess, not necessarily worse. Let's see if we can get any level ups from that. Probably not. No, not quite, but we are getting there. And as you can see, my car collection rating is now tier 8. So I have done a lot since I last saw you guys. Although I will say, this is the first time you see that Ferrari there, the number 62, which is up for grabs when I reach level 33. I already own that one. That's the first and only duplicate I've seen in this whole milestone reward system, and that's good because I have gotten into this vicious cycle of earning money and then wasting money, earning money and wasting money. Basically, what you do is, when you get to pick between credits, your driver's gear, or a car, the car is probably the best option because it's like, hey, it adds to my collection rating. And so then the higher your tier, the better prizes you'll get every time you're accessing a milestone reward. So you're spending money to get cars, to earn a higher discount to get more expensive cars, to earn a higher discount to get even more expensive cars. So basically, I'm always broke. As you can see, I've got $250,000, and after a couple of levels, that'll be gone, especially if there's a really expensive car. And all the money I've made in between now and then will just go away. So that's just kind of how it's played. But anyway, guys, that was a ton of fun. I love drifting. I wish I was better at it in this game. It's not my strongest suit. And I'm not the best tuner either, but honestly, with the angle kits they added in here, with the drift suspension kits, that changes the game completely. Forza 7 is now the definitive Forza to be drifting in. It is just incredible, and the Evo 10 is just such a fun car. You know, it's a very, very powerful car with a small motor and a turbo, big turbo, obviously because I have the race turbo on there. And it's just a ton of fun to drive. This livery looks beautiful. I absolutely love it. I wish, I could adjust a few things, tweak it slightly, but of course you can't for the reasons I stated before. But what are you gonna do? That's the game for you. I guess they just don't want me to be able to alter it and then save it and tell people like, oh hey, look at this livery that I created. Obviously I didn't create the whole thing. If I just fixed a couple of things, that's not me creating it. So I understand that. Anyway, all, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a really fun one. I loved it. I can't believe we won. I can't believe we won. And sure, maybe I shouldn't have won, especially that last section. I wasn't drifting very well in particular. So, but what are you going to do? It was an unorthodox race anyway. I mean, the rules were slapped together within a matter of 60 seconds, and then we just dove right in and went against real race cars. So that's what it was. But that's that, guys. That's the end of this episode, and I'll be seeing you next time when we do who knows what. Stay tuned.